are watching this, then you're probably like me and you have no idea what the hell you're doing. Then this is the right video for you, because I will show you exactly what not to do and you can learn from me. Hey, what's up guys? So, welcome to the paint booth. As you can see, we've got everything kind of set up here. I just tack ragged the rest of the car. Here we've got a broomstick here being held down by some Harbor Freight jack stands. It's primitive, but it'll work. We've got the plastic here on the floor and against the wall here. Prepped all of these panels as well, my brake booster and the front of the frame rail here. So we're good to paint. So before we get doing that, we're gonna go ahead and unbox the Fuji sprayer here. Go ahead and get everything all set up. This looks like it's pretty good quality here. This is a stage 4 turbine. Typically when you're painting a vehicle, they recommend a stage 4, stage 5. And stage 5 was another like $300. So I think this is a good compromise. And I'm not a professional or anything, but I did want the capability of painting future projects and future cars. So I figured I'd invest in myself and invest in one of these. As you can see here, we've got the little Mini Mite turbine system. Here's a little spray gun here. It does come with a little holder. Super easy to install. It's just 2 screws and a self-tapping screw down here. Then you also have your hose here. This here is the flex tube that I had ordered separately. And this allows you to kind of articulate the gun however you need to. It just gives it a little more flexibility. Did buy some paint thinner here just to clean that out once we're all done doing the primer. I think I watched enough Paint Society videos. Shout out to Paint Society. Lots of great content on how to paint a car for beginners, and there's nothing to it but to do it. Do it to it, Lars! All right guys, so real quick, this is what the booth setup looks like. Obviously we got everything all wrapped up. I do have this little light here to kind of shine into the engine bay so I can kind of see what I'm doing. I've been cranking this space heater for literally like the last 5 hours. This is actually only rated for 200 square feet and the garage is well over that. Reading the tech data for the primer, it suggests around 70 degrees Fahrenheit to get the primer to dry and to cure correctly. It feels about that. It's not the best ideal situation to paint, but we'll make it work. I think I'm gonna crack the garage open a little bit too, obviously, to let some of the fumes out. We're not doing the whole car, we're only doing the engine bay, so I think it'll be tolerable in these conditions. So let's go ahead and mix some primer and let's get to it. We mixed up the primer in here. I'm gonna go ahead and test out the fan pattern because I've never used this gun before. And I've got this cardboard area over here to kind of see how the pattern looks like, so when we actually lay it down on some actual panels, we know what to expect. That's annoying. Alright, I'm putting water on the floor because that's annoying. Alright, so we just hit these panels right over here. It really is a bitch to get to. This is just the first coat. I don't want to lay it on too thick. I already kind of fucked up on the booster. You can see it's already dripping. I'm going to try to sand that out, obviously, once it dries. We had a lot of problems with the turbine tripping the garage breaker, so I had to take the fan, I turned off all my accessories over here, and I got an extension cord going into the kitchen because the breaker kept going off in the garage. I think it's pulling too much power from the ceiling lights, the heater, and the turbine. So we got that. Let's go ahead and spray the engine bay. Alright, so we got done with the first coat. I'm already at like a quarter of a cup left in there. I miscalculated how much primer I actually need. Luckily we got pretty good coverage on most of our pieces. The engine bay looks pretty good, but I do need to focus on the rail here. As you can see, it's still pretty spotty from the first pass. You know, it's really interesting with the body filler and the Bondo. What they say is true. If you don't
If you don't clean it up the first time, it is going to show on your pieces. And as you can see here, you can actually kind of see where I put the body filler. I laid it on pretty heavy over here. Again, it's my first time painting, so that's my fault. You can kind of see it right over here too. It's a little dark. But otherwise, like I said, I'm not a professional or anything. In about 10 minutes, we're going to start painting the second pass. And I got to be a little strategic about how I want to spray. We're going to work on that there. Again, I got about half to a quarter of a cup left.
Alright guys, so we just finished up painting the primer. I did a pretty heavy first coat and a light second coat. I didn't really miss any spots or anything. I was able to get in the cracks over there. I was able to kind of get in there. It's kind of hard to see. We did fill in those gaps over here. Most important part, I wanted to make sure we had coverage was obviously on the strut towers and over here on these panels here. Mostly because those are the areas that you're going to see when you look in the engine bay. Moving on to these pieces here, as you can see, really good coverage on the brake booster. To be honest, I only did one pass on this because I didn't want to waste any more primer. The front piece here, this is what you're going to see looking from the top down. I did get pretty good coverage here from what I can tell. I, to be honest, really didn't care so much to cover these areas. Truthfully, I was running out of primer. I was hoping there was going to be enough for 2 regular medium passes, but as you can see, just barely enough to cover both of what I needed. Now it's mostly just cleaning up. I gotta clean up the gun. It was my first time using the gun, trying to figure out the correct fan pattern, how much air I need to push out. I still need a lot of practice with that. I'll probably start sanding it tomorrow morning, clean it all up, and then once we get everything sanded, we'll prep for paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my mess here, set the turbine aside for now, and let this dry up, clean my paint gun, clean under the hood, and I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow afternoon. We're back, so it's been over 12 hours. We kind of just let the primer kind of harden up a little bit. I actually looked up videos, and apparently I guess the fluid in my nozzle was on pretty much almost full blast, which is kind of why we kind of got some orange peel action going on. It laid down nice, but I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but it does have quite a bit of orange peel. The areas that we used our Bondo and body filler are right here. You can kind of see it at an angle. Again, it's not perfect. I probably could have gotten this smoothed out a little flatter, but it is what it is. I'm not complaining. It looks better than having the brackets there. And along with this side here, this is where all of our body filler was. And you can definitely see here, there's areas that I could have done a lot better in. A couple of runs here and there, but not too bad. Strut tower looks good. And for the most part, we were able to get coverage everywhere. Right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scuff it up with 320, then go to 400, clean everything up, and then we'll go back to painting again. So I'm not gonna bore you with a sanding montage. You guys know how that goes. So we'll go from there.
Much later.
All right guys, welcome back. So we are in the booth. We are done with prime. I just tack cloth everything, degreased everything. And let me show you the ghetto booth that I have. We've got plastic covering here. This little plastic sheath is gonna go over my workbench once we're all set. Unfortunately, I didn't have an extension cord, so we kind of have to make do. And I made this little tunnel here. It does have a little filter here at the end to kind of filter out all the incoming air. This is my intake. And it's a 1 box fan. I know I should be more than that, but again, we're just doing the engine. Here, I got my door all plastic wrapped, another box fan. This is my exhaust. And of course, it's the winter time. Again, it's not the most ideal condition to be painting, but I do have my little space heater here. It's an electrical space heater. It's not gas. We're not gonna blow up or anything. This time around, I really learned my lesson, and I sealed up my door into my house, because the last time I tried to paint the house, my wife got really mad. So she actually woke up. I was painting at night, and yeah, it was just irresponsible of me to do. So Next time around, I learned my lesson. I made sure that I got everything all situated. I can definitely feel there's more air coming in to the garage as opposed to when I first did my primer. You guys saw how I prepped for that. It was kind of half-assed, to be honest, but now we actually prepped the engine correctly. I covered up the hood area because we were getting some overspray and some kick up. And yeah, hopefully this kind of seals out all those vapors, the smelly vapors from the house. I'm pretty much locked in here, and the only way to get out is literally if I climb underneath the garage. And I already peed before this, so if I need to pee, I guess I'll just pee myself. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the paint reveal. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty exciting. If you guys have been watching my videos and you kind of have an idea what color it is, yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty sweet. Yeah, this color's a lot lighter than I thought it would be. Alright guys, so the first coat's done. I'm a little concerned because I spot primed a couple of areas I went through bare metal, and I used some rattle can primer, which probably wasn't the best idea. I just got whatever I could find in Mesa Gray. And first coat went down good, but man, I'm really hoping this gets covered up. So we'll have to see. I hope it turns out okay. Okay guys, so this is the second coat. I laid it on here. It looks a little better. This side looks good. This still worries me. I think we're gonna have to put at least another 2 or 3 coats on there. Oh, success. So I kind of messed around with the settings on my gun. I was kind of messing around with the fan a little bit and the knob over here to get more paint. And yeah, it finally covered those areas. Oh shit, looks like we got some action going on here. I don't know what happened there. Other than that, yeah, everything turned out pretty good. I'm not too mad about it. This is probably going to be like my 4.5 coat of base. This is pretty much just a touch-up coat. I'm going to focus on areas where I kind of fucked up. There was like some paint that fell on here, and I tried to take it out with a razor blade. Obviously I fucked up, so yeah, it is what it is. It's not gonna be a perfect job. We're gonna touch it up, hit it with a little bit more base coat, and then mix up some magic with the gloss. So let's get it. Got our cup here. We're gonna mix our gloss. So here's the magic sauce. We got some gunmetal metallic flake. I've got a small little spoon here. I'm gonna put a couple of spoonfuls in here. We're just gonna eyeball it. Oh my god, I can't wait to finally spray this. This is what we've been waiting for, really. All right, let's get to it. Ooh, that looks good.
All right, guys, so we just finished up. We did about 4 or 5 coats of clear coat. I don't know, the last couple of coats I did go kind of heavy on the flake. Again, I am not a professional, and it's my first time shooting paint in general. So there's some areas where the flake is a little more heavy than others. That's probably user error, and some of the clear coat is just dripping down the side of the engine bay, and obviously the flake is collecting in little pool areas. So this is what it looks like right now. Now from far away it looks great, but when you actually get closer, you can kind of see here, we do have pools of flake here and on this side. And we do have streaks of flake as well. And that's probably my fault, but to be honest, like for someone who doesn't know what he's doing, it looks a lot better than it did before. Obviously it looks way better than it did stock. Granted, it's not a perfect job, but it's definitely doable. I'm sure if I took my time and I wasn't so tired. I worked a 12-hour shift last night, and right now it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. So I've been up for almost 20 hours. I tried my best not to rush. I did follow the technical data sheets with the coating times in between coats. Granted, it is a little on the chillier side. Outside temperature, I think right now is about mid-50s. Obviously, it's warmer inside than it is outside. I think I just kicked this on. You can literally see the clear just dripping off of the car. In terms of like the streaks of the metallic flake, I think that's just something we're gonna have to live with. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, it gives it character. They're gonna be like, oh, who painted this? Some idiot. And I'm like, yeah, that would be me. At least I did it myself, and I saved like $3,000. So, yeah, at the end of the day, is it worth it? It's really time consuming, but the end results aren't too bad considering I don't really know what I'm doing. So, this is what it looks like at the moment. And yeah, we'll see what it looks like when I come back after I get some sleep, when all the gloss is all hardened up. All right, guys, so it's been about a week. I let the paint cure for quite a bit now. So this is what the finished product looks like, and I'm quite happy with it. So as you can see, the paint is just shimmering. It just looks absolutely gorgeous in person. There are a couple of areas, obviously, that need to be touched up, as you could have seen at the beginning of the video. We have these little areas here, these little nipples. It literally just dried and just icicled, so that was really interesting. A couple of other nubs here and there. I'm just gonna cut these off with a razor blade. You can tell right here, you kind of have this waterfall effect going on here. I think that's also due to overspray, and that's also similar over here, but to be honest, I actually think it looks kind of cool. There is going to be one more episode. That's going to be me pretty much just cleaning it up and tidying it up. I did buy a polisher with some products, so we're going to see if we can get some more shine out of this. There isn't very much orange peel, surprisingly. I just want to see if I can polish it up, give it a nice little shine. So stay tuned for that. We're getting closer to bringing the car back to Aaron and getting that LS3 in. And if you like this video, you like this series, please hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Deuces.